I learned to smile like stage direction. I learned to keep my lips closed. I learned to tuck away teeth too wide. I learned to soften joy as if it might tear the set. I learned to quiet my hunger, learned to fold my fire, learned to sand down my edges until I fit the script. I measured my worth in shadows, measured it in how still I could stand, in how much I could shrink without disappearing. I learned that presence was permission-based, that beauty was conditional on proximity to pale. No one had to say it. No one had to name the role. The silence after I spoke too freely, the stare that lingered too long, the line handed to someone lighter, smaller, safer. They told me everything. They told me love was a quiet script, a soft gaze, a lowered chin, a role I'd never been meant to write. They told me I had to play it anyway, and play it well. So I lightened my voice for the back row, lightened my laugh to be less loud, less black, less bold. I straightened my hair, I straightened my back, I straightened my rage into ribbons they could tie. I cut the rhythm from my walk, cut the slang from my tongue, cut my joy down to size so it wouldn't echo too far. I made myself less noise, less colour, less real to fit a stage they built without me. I spoke in disclaimers, I moved in edits, I wore approval like a second skin. Don't worry, I know the role, not too loud, not too dark, not too angry, not too much. I buried parts of myself in trapdoors and footnotes, called it compromise, called it love, called it survival. But being single felt like walking off stage mid-monologue, pulling off the mic and realising the silence was mine. No cues, no critics, no rewrites, just me, raw, black, off-script, brilliant. I started wearing colours they called too loud. Let my coils reclaim their shape. Let my stomach show. Let my thighs take space. Let my voice break and echo. Let it rise without apology. Now I promise, I will only build love where I don't need to audition, where softness isn't submission, where I grow sideways, grow upwards, grow untamed, grow true. No more roles, only presence, only a hand that holds, not edits. Only someone who sees and says yes, not despite, but because. And if they throw fruit, let it hit the floor. If they boo, let them choke on the sound of my truth. I am not here to be clapped for. I am not here to disappear. I am here to blaze, to bear, to be. And I set the stage on fire with everything they tried to whitewash. Behind the lines, I wrote this poem to explore how love once felt like theatre. Not a sanctuary, but a spotlight I never asked for. A stage where I was cast without consent, expected to perform femininity not as expression, but as discipline. Thin, delicate, agreeable, white adjacent. Approval came cloaked in silence when I complied. Disapproval landed hard, like rotten fruit hurled from the dark. I learned my lines quickly, smile without showing teeth, speak softly, take up less space. My body became a costume, my voice trimmed to suit their script. In those relationships I wasn't loved, I was directed. Every glance felt like a line read. Every touch came with conditions. I wasn't present. I was performing, for safety, for affection, for the illusion of belonging. The price? Parts of me vanished behind the curtain. My laughter was rehearsed. My identity stage managed. I moulded myself to a shape stitched from colonial ideals, misogyny, and the subtle violence of being made palatable. I called it love. I called it compromise. But it was performance, and it was erasure. This poem is a reckoning with the stage, with the script, with the kind of love that demands you disappear to be seen. It mourns the applause that never reached the real me, and the bitter truth that what I thought was intimacy was often just obedience. But it's also a declaration. Becoming single wasn't a failure, it was a curtain drop, an exhale, a backstage moment where I could finally hear my own voice without direction. I began calling the real me forward, loud, soft, sharp, tender. Too much, too full. I wore colours that didn't match their set. I took up space and let my voice tremble. I stopped apologising for the volume of my truth. At its core, this poem is a promise. That I will never again confuse being loved with being edited. That I'll only hold hands that let me stay unwritten, unmasked. That the stage I stand on now is mine, and I'm done auditioning. No more scripts, no more shrinking. Just me, whole unscripted, and finally center stage on my own terms.